Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to day 30 of the 31 Days of Horror. D Bougie 86 here. That's right, guys. Crazy. Only one more day of this event and this extravaganza of 31 fucking videos, dudes. It's crazy. And I got an interesting film choice for day 30. It's a film that I think everyone should know, and uh, I definitely know it because this film is actually as old as me. And that, of course, is from the year of my birth of 1986, written by Clive Barker. Rawhead Rex. Yes, I am doing Rawhead Rex for my 30th review on this episode of the 31 Days of Horror. And it's a film I always wanted to talk about and give you my opinion on it and my thoughts on it today as a viewer of it. Because it isn't a film that I grew up watching. I have seen it on YouTube and stuff in the past. And then, of course, I bought the Blu-ray when it was first announced. So I was very excited to see a 4K restoration of Rawhead Rex. But yeah, pretty much the main plot of Rawhead Rex, if you haven't seen it, is it's pretty much set up as we have this young American with his family going to Ireland to do some research on a book that he is writing. And while he's doing this research, he actually is scoping out this like old church that was actually built on maybe some ancient bad burial grounds or something like that. It was kind of discreet what they were mentioning in the dialogue, where shit has happened and there's some weird like shit on the church itself, like even like the window seals, or like the mosaic on the window seals is kind of odd because they kind of look like paganistic in a way, with the art that's on them. But while this is happening, unbeknownst to a lot of the characters at the time, ancient pagan demon known as Rawhead Rex is awoken and starts rampaging the landscape of Ireland and attacking people and killing them and eating them and shit like that while this is going on. And what ends up happening is pretty much the main American dude that we're introduced to in the movie ends up crossing paths with Rawhead Rex in a way where something happens without giving too much away, and he ends up putting a vendetta to stop this pagan demon and putting it back to rest and finding the way to stop him, pretty much. That is pretty much the gist of the plot of this movie. Now, my thoughts on it as a whole. Rawhead Rex was an interesting film project for Clive Barker to do at this time period. It's one of the reasons why he ended up making his own movies with himself in the future. Like, this one is not directed by him, it's only written by him. And he decided, if I'm going to have a film adaptation done of my work, I'm going to direct it myself. And this is the major thing wrong with Rawhead Rex, is it comes off a little cheesy at times in some spots, but that's not really an issue. With me anyways. I know I had a lot of people say this is a bad film, but I'll get more into my actual thoughts on the film in a whole in a minute. Yeah, so of course after this he did make Hellraiser and stuff, and the aspects of that, it led to that career of him making those movies that we all talk about and cherish about, and no one really mentions Rawhead Rex as kind of the forefront. And the other movie that the director also did, Transformations, I believe is what it's called, which is also based off Barker's work. George Pavlo went on to direct Little Devils, which I actually reviewed last year, I believe. And it's a cheesy film too, and there's some cheesy aspect. Rawhead Rex himself is probably the main issue of the film, because some of the close-ups of him, you could tell it's like a puppet. and very rubbery. But it's just a weird thing for a pagan god to look like a cyberpunk fucking punk rocker dude that comes out of the ground like wearing all leather and looking like a puppet muppet, you know. But I actually really like this film. I like the messages that it displays with like the paganism rituals and stuff. I also really like just it turns into like kind of like a supernatural creature slasher in a way, because Rawhead Rex is going around rampaging people and fucking shit up, and I like that about this film. Some over the top performances. The main like bad dick priest character in this film, so overacting and enjoying his role in the movie. It's so great. He knows exactly what movie he's in, and it's just interesting. There's actually some interesting aspects to this movie because some of the aspects that I did see of it kind of reminded me of like some old school like folk horror tales that I used to read, with the aspects of something coming out of the ground and being an influence on others, and you could see like some of that aspect is bleeding on to Rawhead Rex's story, which is kind of weird because it has some kind of like folklore to it that I dig. And you know, I like the Irish head, and that really makes the grass of the film. For me personally, I like it that it's set in Ireland. It has some kind of weird tonal shifts in it where sometimes it looks more comedic than it's supposed to be. But then there's some serious ass moments in the film too, which I also dig. I kind of like that it's a mixture of different tones for this type of story, because if it wasn't, then if it was like one thing all at once, it would have been a fucking either boring as fuck or either fucking too goofy for its own right. I think the mixture actually kind of works for it in a way where you're not supposed to feel like one mood at the time, but then when you do, it happens. And you know, it's a cheesy, fun movie. The ending is fucking cheesy as all fuck. There's a lot I could say about Rawhead Rex that I dig, and I dig it. You know, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Rawhead. You know, it's nothing that I don't care if you don't like this film. It's one that I dig, and it's one that I always like. So if I had to rate it, tough one to rate. 7 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna go for it. It's my entertainment level. It's probably a little high for this type of movie, but I enjoy it. That's all I'm saying. If you have seen Rawhead Rex, let me know what you think of it too, because I know it's got a mixed reaction with people. And you know, this is a great release by Kino, and there's also a release from Arrow Video too, over there in the UK. So it's got some great releases, I gotta say. And yeah, fucking Rawhead Rex. So fucking awesome shit. Alright guys, that's it for this review. As always, I'll be back tomorrow to finish it off with a Halloween flick for you guys. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet, but it's between 2 movies, maybe 3. So let's hope for the best. So I'll see you then, guys. Peace out.